China is criticizing the U.S. over its decision to tighten export controls that would target Chinese chip manufacturers. The restrictions will limit Chinese companies' access to advanced computer chips and slow their progress in artificial intelligence. The move also includes a measure to cut China off from certain semiconductor chips made anywhere in the world with U.S. equipment. This is not just an economic decision. The Commerce Department says China could use the technology to create advanced military systems and commit human rights abuses. It's being talked about as one of the toughest actions that President Biden has taken against China. For more, Wyne joins me now. He's a senior analyst with Eurasia Group, focusing on U.S.-China relations. So how could this move by the Commerce Department actually, when it comes down to it, complicate efforts by Chinese companies to develop technology?
Thanks so much for having me on, John. It's a pleasure to be with you. And as you said in your introduction, this move by the Biden administration, it represents a very serious move to set back China's ability to achieve its ambitions in supercomputing and artificial intelligence. And it's restricting, it's not only restricting the provision of inputs to China or the provision of exports from the United States, it's also making it more difficult for other countries to do business with China in ways that might enhance China's technological development. And I think what's important to point out here is that while this is obviously an initiative of the Biden administration, what we're seeing here is a bipartisan conviction that China's resurgence presents not only an economic challenge to the United States and technological challenge to the United States, but also a national security challenge. And there's a similar discussion playing out in Beijing. Beijing feels that efforts by the United States, the U.S. allies and partners to constrict China's technological development, they present not only economic and technological considerations and concerns for China, but also national security ones. And so this nexus between economics, technology on the one hand, and national security is going to grow.
I'm interested in those other countries that the U.S. is going to limit, because when President Biden started his term, he tried to convince different countries in Europe to take a stronger line towards China, and he was met with mixed reviews. Some were agreed with his thinking. Others were not wanting to be as aggressive. So what are these other countries that the U.S. is going to try to limit going to feel about the U.S. putting limitations on their commerce?
So some of America's allies and partners, they may not be willing to go as far as the United States in looking to disentangle the U.S. economy from the Chinese economy. They may not be willing to go as far, but John, to your point, I think what's been noticeable and notable in recent months and recent years has been the United States has been achieving under the Biden administration. It's been achieving greater success in standing up what we would call multilateral coalitions, stitching together European allies and partners, Asian allies and partners, not so much because of unilateral U.S. pressure, but because of growing concern over China's conduct. If you look at China's conduct since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, whether it's crackdown on Hong Kong, its growing coercion of Taiwan, its so-called wolf warrior diplomacy, China's diplomacy is increasingly estranging it from many advanced industrial democracies. And the more that it proceeds apace with that type of conduct, the more likely you are to see technological coalitions that will push back against Chinese efforts. Now, again, I want to reiterate, America's allies and partners might not necessarily go as far as Washington might like, but we are certainly seeing the direction of travel in Washington's favor.
What fears are there for retaliation against U.S. firms or U.S. interests as a result of this?
Obviously, if you're a company or multinational corporation that has substantial operations in China, you now have to think about two sets of potential punishments. You have to worry about avoiding U.S. penalties, but you also have to worry about avoiding Chinese penalties. What China has been doing in recent months and years is kind of establishing what you might call a parallel retaliatory apparatus. China bristles at secondary sanctions. China bristles at export controls. And as China's economy grows, as its centrality to supply chains grows, China is saying, look, you not only have to comply with U.S. pressure, but China's becoming bigger. It's becoming more powerful, more influential. You have to also take our considerations into account. And so I think that we'll see growing demonstrations of Chinese kind of coercive economic statecraft to send a signal to U.S. allies and partners that are perhaps on the fence about going along with Washington, but also to companies that have substantial business operations in China that, look, if you continue to comply with U.S. pressure and with U.S. secondary sanctions, you might lose access to the world's largest consumer market. That's a very vexing dilemma for any major multinational corporation.
And Ali, before I let you go, I want to ask you one more question, which is Chinese President Xi Jinping is about to win a third term as head of the party, and at the Communist Party's 20th National Congress. What could that mean, or what's your assessment of what that means for his position once he secures that on, I think it's October 16th, how that changes the relationship, changes his behavior? How much of an important bend in the road is that?
It's a critical inflection point, if only for symbolic reasons. To secure a norm-defined third term at the helm of China is a significant symbolic and also a practical accomplishment for President Xi. And in terms of the outlook for the U.S.-China relationship, it obviously is going to grow more strained on a multifaceted basis. That being said, I think that there's a recognition in both Washington and Beijing that neither country can relegate the other to a marginal position in world affairs. So yes, this great power competition between the two countries is going to intensify, but the task for the United States in dealing with China, given the range of interdependencies it has, and given the likelihood that China is going to endure as a competitor, Washington's task is not so much to pursue a decisive victory over Beijing, it's instead to forge a decisive, or rather a strained, that is, a cohabitation with Beijing. So the relationship will be stressed, it will be strained on a multifaceted basis, but the task for diplomats in both Washington and Beijing is how do we coexist and cohabitate in perpetuity?
Quite a challenge. Ali Wyne, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.